Everyone in America believed the lottery was pure luck. One retired man in a small town did the math, realized it wasn't, and quietly turned a state lottery into a paycheck worth millions. His name was Jerry Selbee, and he wasn't a gambler. That's the first thing you have to understand. He was a quiet, ordinary man from Evart, Michigan, a tiny rural town of a few thousand people. The kind of place where everyone knows your name and nothing much ever happens. For years, Jerry and his wife, Marge, ran the corner convenience store. They sold cigarettes and liquor and lottery tickets to their neighbors, and they watched those neighbors hand over their money week after week, hoping for the one lucky break that would change their lives. In 2000, Jerry and Marge retired. They figured they'd take it easy, travel a little, enjoy their golden years. But you should know one thing about Jerry. He had a head for numbers, a real one. As a kid, he'd struggled to read, but put a math problem in front of him and something clicked. He could see patterns where everyone else just saw noise. He had a math degree and a lifelong habit that would end up making him a fortune. As he put it himself, most people think the lottery is luck. They never stop to look at the structure of the game. Hold on to that idea. It's not luck, it's structure. Because in about 3 minutes, Jerry Selbee was going to prove it. One morning in 2003, Jerry wandered back into the store he used to own, just to catch up with the new owners. And sitting on the counter was a brochure for a brand new Michigan lottery game. It was called Winfall. Jerry picked it up. He started reading. And before he'd even finished, he'd spotted something the people who designed the game apparently hadn't thought all the way through. Most lotteries work in a simple way. Nobody wins the jackpot, and the prize just keeps growing bigger and bigger until someone finally does. But this game was different. This game had a special feature. If the jackpot climbed above $5 million and still nobody matched all 6 numbers, the game did something unusual. Instead of letting the jackpot keep growing, it rolled the money down. All that prize money came cascading down into the lower tiers, the smaller prizes for matching just 5 numbers, or 4, or even 3. And on a roll-down week, those small prizes didn't just get a little bigger, they ballooned. A ticket that normally paid a few dollars might suddenly pay hundreds. And here's the part that made Jerry's heart beat a little faster. The lottery announced in advance exactly when a roll-down was coming. So Jerry did the arithmetic, standing right there in the store. And what he found was almost too simple to believe. He calculated that if he spent around $1,100 buying tickets during a roll-down, the odds said he'd win back roughly $1,900. Spend $1,100, get back $1,900. An $800 profit, not from luck, but from math. The more tickets he bought, the more certain that profit became. The randomness that ruined everyone else washed out completely once you played at scale. He had just found a way to make a lottery pay him, reliably, on purpose. Now here's what most people would do with a discovery like that. They'd tell everyone. They'd brag. Jerry did the opposite. He was so sure other people would spot the same flaw that he kept it quiet and moved fast, half expecting a stampede of competitors any day. But the stampede never came. Nobody else did the math. The loophole just sat there, in plain sight, in a game thousands of people played. And Jerry Selbee was the only one who'd bothered to read the structure instead of praying to luck. So he tested it. On the next roll down, he bought around $3,400 in tickets and sorted every single one of them by hand, right there at the counter, so Marge wouldn't catch on. When he tallied it up, he'd won $6,300, nearly a 50% return. He tried again, bigger, $8,000 this time. He won back over $15,000. His math wasn't a theory anymore. It was working. And he still hadn't told his wife. Then one night, on a camping trip, sitting by the fire, Jerry finally let Marge in on the secret. He told her he'd been playing the lottery, that he'd figured out how to beat it, that he had a system, and that he'd already quietly won 5 figures. And he promised her the most important part, that none of it was illegal. He wasn't cheating anyone. He was simply playing the game exactly the way its own rules allowed. From there, it stopped being a hobby and became an operation. Jerry did something no ordinary lottery player would ever think to do. He treated it like a business. He formed an actual company, a legal corporation, to run the whole thing. He called it GS Investment Strategies, and he began selling shares in it, $500 apiece, to people he trusted. His 6 grown children bought in, then friends and neighbors. Before long, his little investment club had grown to around 25 members. And this wasn't a gang of gamblers. It included 3 state troopers, a factory plant manager, a bank vice president, his own accountant, respectable people, quietly buying shares in a retired shopkeeper's plan to beat the state lottery with arithmetic. And it worked over and over. Every time a roll down was announced, the club would pour in their money, and Jerry would turn a reliable profit and split it among the shareholders. He wasn't gambling with their money. He was running the numbers, and the numbers kept paying. But you should know it was not glamorous, not even close. This was one of the most tedious jobs you can imagine. The lottery machines could only print 10 slips at a time, 10 lines each. So if you wanted to buy $100,000 worth of tickets, you had to stand at a machine for hour after hour after hour, punching the same buttons, waiting for the slips to grind out, changing the paper, unjamming the printer. And then you had to sort every single ticket by hand to find the winners. Jerry and Marge would spend 10 hours a day doing this. They'd stack the tickets in piles of 5,000 and rubber band them into bricks. This was the reality behind the fortune. 2 retirees, standing at a lottery terminal until their eyes ached, doing math homework for money. Then, in 2005, it all came crashing down. Michigan abruptly shut the Winfall game down. And the reason was almost funny. They closed it for low ticket sales. The one game Jerry had turned into a money machine was gone. Most people would have called it a good run and gone back to retirement. Jerry didn't, because one of his club members sent him an email that reopened everything. Massachusetts, the member said, had a game called Cash Winfall, and it worked almost exactly the same way. Jerry researched it. The math checked out. The loophole was alive again. It was just 700 miles away. So this is where the story of a quiet Michigan couple becomes genuinely wild. Because Jerry and Marge started making the drive. A 14-hour road trip, again and again, from their tiny town in Michigan all the way to Massachusetts. Every single time a roll down was announced. They'd check into a modest motel, drive to a couple of convenience stores, and buy tickets by the hundreds of thousands. On one trip alone, they spent $720,000, buying 360,000 individual lottery tickets. And then they'd sit in that motel room and sort all 360,000 of them by hand. And here's the midpoint twist that turns this from a clever trick into something bigger. Jerry and Marge weren't alone anymore. Somewhere in Massachusetts, a group of students from MIT, some of the sharpest young math minds in the country, had discovered the exact same flaw, completely independently. They'd formed their own syndicate and were pouring in their own money on the very same roll-down weeks. Over the years, that MIT group bet somewhere between $17 and $18 million on the game and earned millions in profit at almost the identical rate of return as a retired shopkeeper from a town they'd never heard of. 2 completely different worlds. the small-town couple and the university geniuses, quietly competing for the same pile of money that everyone else thought was pure chance. And it gets stranger. Because this so-called gamble was never really a gamble at all. Jerry and Marge were so confident in the math, so sure they'd come out ahead, that they saved every losing ticket they bought, just in case the government ever audited them. By the end, they had roughly $18 million worth of losing tickets stuffed into more than 60 plastic tubs in their barn. Think about that. Who keeps $18 million in losing lottery tickets? Someone who knows for a fact that the winners more than covered them. For years, it all ran quietly. And then, in 2011, a newspaper cracked it wide open. The Boston Globe got a tip. Something strange was happening. In a couple of specific stores, ordinary lottery tickets were selling in absolutely staggering volumes. Their investigative team started digging, and what they uncovered set off a firestorm. They revealed that two groups had been quietly dominating this state lottery, the couple from Michigan and the syndicate from MIT, and that anyone willing to spend enough on a roll-down week was, in effect, guaranteed to come out ahead. The public reaction was immediate. People were furious. Surely this was rigged. Surely there was cheating or organized crime or corruption behind it. The state treasurer shut the game down, and an official investigation was launched, led by the state's inspector general, to hunt for the fraud that everyone was sure had to be there. Now watch what they found. They dug, they audited, they looked everywhere for the crime, and there wasn't one. No cheating, no corruption, no rigging. The investigation concluded that Jerry Selbee and everyone like him had done absolutely nothing illegal. They hadn't broken a single rule. They had simply read the game more carefully than the people who ran it. The loophole was real. It was legal. And here's the kicker. The state had been making money off the game the whole time too. Everybody's tickets, including all the losing ones from all the regular players, fed the same pot. It was, on paper, one of the few lotteries in history where a smart player could win on purpose. And a retired couple from Evart, Michigan, had seen it before almost anyone. In early 2012, Jerry and Marge played their final roll-down and walked away for good. Over roughly 9 years, across 2 states, they and their shareholders had grossed nearly $27 million in winning tickets, netting somewhere around $7.75 million in profit. All of it legal. All of it built on arithmetic a curious man did in his head in 3 minutes. And what did they do with it? They didn't buy mansions or yachts. They stayed in the same small town, in the same modest life. They used the money to help their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids pay for their educations. They even started a small lending business to help other people in their community get ahead. When Jerry was later asked what he made of the whole incredible story, he shrugged it off. The only thing he found truly remarkable, he said, was that nobody else ever seemed to grasp it. So here's the truth buried in Jerry Selbee's story, and it's worth more than the money. Everyone else who walked up to that lottery machine was flipping a coin, praying, hoping, trusting their birthday, their lucky number, their gut. They believed the game was chance. So for them, it was. Jerry looked at the same game and saw something completely different. He saw structure. He saw a flaw. He saw that on certain announced weeks, the coin wasn't fair at all. It was quietly weighted in favor of anyone willing to do the math and put in the work. That's the line between luck and everyone who beats it. Luck is what you're left with when you don't understand the game. Jerry Selbee understood the game. And while a whole country stood in line hoping to get lucky, one retired man in a small town simply read the fine print, picked up a pencil, and cashed the check. if stories about the people who quietly beat a game everyone else calls luck are what keep you here. Stay close, because the next one is even harder to believe.